In about 10 days, I will be at Universal's Islands of Adventure. I haven't been to Islands of Adventure in over 3 years now, and I'm just so excited to get back to this park as it's one of my favorite parks of all time. In the meantime though, I'm going to be making a lot of predictions for you guys. Today, I'll be ranking the top 10 rides at Universal's Islands of Adventure by prediction. I actually have written a few of the attractions on this list, so keep that in mind while I rank them. Now, what am I going to be taking into account? Well, I'm going to be looking for the things I love in a roller coaster. The things I love in a good roller coaster are thrills, maybe good launch or two, you'll see that, airtime, positive G's, smoothness, and good trains. I also will be including some of my favorite flat rides on this list. The things I look for in a good flat ride are theming, atmosphere, and a good storyline. I am also a sucker for theming, so the higher the theming, the higher it will be on this list. Now, I will be doing a separate video for Universal, and I also will be doing a separate video for Busch Gardens Tampa. That will happen next week, so definitely stay tuned for that. Now, real quickly, I just want to note that this is all my opinion, and let's get right into the list. Number 10, Dr. Doom's Fearfall. This is your classic double SNS space shot, and it does look like a very fun ride. Though, from the reviews that I've heard of Dr. Doom's Fearfall, I've heard that it's a lot tamer than the others. Themed to the supervillain, Dr. Doom, his main catchphrase for this ride is to launch you into space, pulling forces beyond gravity, which is kind of odd because I've heard that this ride is pretty forceless. Though this is just a prediction, and when I ride it in a few weeks, I might even have a different response. Who knows, this could be a really good ride, I would just have to wait a few weeks to find out. Number 9, Skull Island, Reign of Kong. In 2017, I was so close to getting on this attraction, but it did break down in the middle of the queue line, so we didn't have time to go back on it again. Many criticize rides such as Skull Mountain Reign of Kong, Transformers, and especially Fast and Furious Supercharged for their ride system where you're pretty much in a tram going through a bunch of screens. But in my eyes, Skull Mountain looks different. In my eyes, I see Skull Mountain as an insanely well-themed trek through, Skull Island itself. It has an absolutely massive King Kong animatronic at the end of the ride, which I think boosts the ride experience way up. Yes, I know, this is only a prediction, this ride could underwhelm me or overwhelm me, but I'm just so excited for this ride and what it has to offer, and I'm just excited to see what I will think about it. Number 8, Jurassic Park River Adventure. Now, this is a ride I actually have ridden, but I only rode it around 5 or 6 years ago. From what I remember, I was totally overwhelmed by all the dinosaur animatronics and just the ride system itself. I really felt like I was in Jurassic Park. Now, at this time, I was around 7 years old and I had no idea that there was a big drop at the end. So I wasn't nervous at all going through all of these enclosures. I thought it was mostly just a peaceful ride through the river with a bunch of dinosaurs. Though, when we turned into the raptor paddock, I instantly started to freak out. We started going up, and I still remember to this day this exact quote from my mother saying, "Well, since we're going up, it looks like we have to come down." At that point, I was freaking out, and I didn't have enough time to admire the surroundings around me and the amazing theming that this ride had to offer. That giant T-Rex absolutely scared the hell out of me, and when I saw it, I ducked under my seat and closed my eyes until the ride was over. Looking at the ride from an enthusiast standpoint, this ride looks very visually impressive, combining some amazing theming with a very good ride experience. Now, some of the effects do look a little outdated, but I can forgive that as this ride is very old, and hopefully it doesn't get rethemed to Jurassic World anytime soon, as this is an absolute classic. Number 7, Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges. Another ride that I have ridden before. Now, I'm just going to tell you from the experiences I had, this ride is absolutely awesome. This ride is also an absolute super soaker. Combine that with the amazing theming, and that makes an amazing river rapids ride in my book. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Popeye, but I do pretty much know the storyline. It's actually really easy to follow. So, Popeye's, girlfriend, or wife, or just friend in general, Olive, gets captured by a sailor, and Popeye goes on a journey through the hurricane rapids to go and save her. From the theming and the wetness of this attraction, and of course the storyline, this is one heck of a river rapids ride, and definitely one of the best in the world. No matter how soaked I was, I just wanted to go back and back on this ride. That is just how fun the experience was. Number 6, Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. Onto an attraction that I still have not ridden yet, Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls looks like an absolutely amazing log flume. It is often considered to be one of the best log flumes in the world, and it's not hard to see why. This log flume looks like it has absolutely incredible theming throughout its course and throughout the queue line, and I can't wait to get on it. This ride is also said to be an absolute soaker as well, and that's not hard to see why, as there are so many water and jet streams on the final drop. Speaking of the final drop, that final drop looks to be one of the steepest on a log flume, and some even consider it a credit because it is actually on a track on that final drop, and it does go through a speed hill. This looks to be a must-do attraction at Islands of Adventure, and I will definitely put it on my bucket list for the park. Number 5, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. I have only ridden this attraction once, and that one ride was enough to really appreciate this ride. I'm just gonna say that this is one of the best dark rides in the world, and I haven't even ridden a whole lot of dark rides. I can easily tell that this does everything a dark ride is set out to be. It uses an amazing mixture of screens and practical sets. The storyline for this ride is great, as you, the rider, are put into a vehicle called the Scoop. You, the rider, are sent out to take photos and videos of Spider-Man for the Daily Bugle. Though in doing this, the Sinister Six appears and Spider-Man tells you that you shouldn't be out here. The ride takes you through a battle between Spider-Man, the Sinister Six, and even you. The Sinister Six actually try to kill you for a few times, especially Electro. The animatronics and screens on this ride, for such an old ride, are insanely well done. This ride is just an absolute blast from start to finish, and I am so excited to get back on it in a few weeks. Number 4, The Incredible Hulk. Often known as one of the most famous roller coasters of all time, The Incredible Hulk is a B&M sit-down looping coaster. It's the company's second only launch roller coaster, and I'm just going to tell you that this ride looks absolutely insane. I have not yet ridden Incredible Hulk, but from just watching off-ride footage and POVs of it, it looks to be incredibly intense. The theming looks great, even though I couldn't find any footage of the theming throughout the queue, mostly because of their very strict loose article policy. The theming is said to be incredibly well done throughout the queue line and throughout the ride's course. When I went a few years ago, I will admit I was too scared to ride the Incredible Hulk, but I will definitely not be scared to ride it when I go to Islands of Adventure in a few weeks, and this is one of my top bucket list roller coasters, in the world. I am an absolute sucker for positive G-forces, and I'm sure that this ride will pack in a ton. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. A dark ride that I actually have ridden is one of the most beloved in the entire world. Themed to the Harry Potter franchise, this ride takes you on a journey throughout Hogwarts Castle with Ron, Harry, Hermione, and even Hagrid at some points. This ride is just non-stop action from start to finish, and I can see why other people say it is one of their number one attractions in the entire world. The theming is perfectly executed throughout the ride and throughout the ride's queue line. The ride, though mostly uses some screens, also has a few practical effects. You actually near invert on this ride, which is actually really crazy and I was not expecting when I was around 9 years old. Now, the queue line for this ride is absolutely incredible and will definitely blow your expectations away, as you really do feel like you are in Hogwarts Castle. I am so excited to get back on this ride in a few short weeks. Number 2, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. The next 2 roller coasters on this list I have yet to ride. Hagrid's Magical Creatures looks like one of the most fun roller coasters in the world, combining 7 launches with an impressive 5,000 feet of track. Taking the record as the most expensive roller coaster in the world, it is not hard to see why when you factor in the ride experience along with all the incredible theming. This is, in my opinion, the most themed attraction in the world. This ride looks to have some thrilling moments such as a vertical drop track and a reverse backwards spike. But what else can I say about Hagrid's that you don't already know? It looks like an incredible family launch coaster with one of the best settings and best themes in the entire world. Number 1, Jurassic World Velocicoaster. I mean seriously, what else would it be at this point? This is one of the most hyped up roller coasters in the world. In my eyes, this is the perfect mix between theming and thrills, as this ride is one of the best roller coasters in the world, combined with being one of the most themed roller coasters in the world. With 2 launches, 4 inversions, and 4,700 feet of track, this ride is an absolute beast of a roller coaster. This is my number 1 most anticipated roller coaster in the world, and it's not hard to see why. Combining everything I love in a good roller coaster, theming, positive G-forces, and airtime into one ride will definitely be one of the best rides in the world. This has the potential to become my new number 1 roller coaster. What else can I say about Velocicoaster that hasn't already been said? It is a top 5 ride and potentially a number 1 coaster. Now, it looks like that is going to do it for my video on ranking the top 10 attractions by prediction at Islands of Adventure. What did you think of this video? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of Islands of Adventure and its attractions? What do you also think of my predictions? Also let me know down in the comments. As always, these videos take a ton of time to make, and I'd really appreciate a subscribe if you enjoy the content. Now, without further ado, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.